Although mixed methods have a very long history in social science, they became fashionable only recently and are currently experiencing a bit of a boom. This video will introduce mixed methods and discuss various types of mixed methods. I'll begin the discussion with key differences between qualitative and quantitative design. Before exploring approaches to mixed methods, it is useful to recall the differences between qualitative and quantitative methods. They differ because of fundamental assumptions they imply, and those assumptions concern epistemological and ontological principle. Quantitative research emanates from objectivist position, which holds that the reality exists independently of the researcher and the truth is out there to be found. In contrast, qualitative research is more closely linked with social constructivism, which abandons the search for truth and maintains that meaning is constructed and interpreted by individuals. There are multiple implications of these assumptions. For example, one difference concerns the way in which qualitative and quantitative methods demonstrate the relationship between the researcher and the subjects of their study. In quantitative research, researchers tend to keep themselves at a distance, and this distance may be both emotional and physical. For example, the researcher has no contact with the survey respondent. By contrast, qualitative research usually involves direct contact between researcher and those they are researching. This contact enables two-way interactions and relationships to form. There is an ongoing debate whether mixing of methods is possible or indeed desirable, and we'll go back to this issue at the end of this session. What do we mean by mixed methods? Mixed methods are relatively new methodological development in management, and there is some evidence that the use is growing and they are increasingly fashionable. I suspect that their popularity may be directly linked to the confusion concerning what mixed methods are. It seems that the term mixed method is being applied to increasing number of designs. There is some debate on what mixed methods are. For example, what are we mixing? Briman, in 2007, examined 19 mixed method studies and found that some authors claim to have used mixed methods when mixing different data collection methods, whereas others mixed methods occurred in data analysis. For example, when qualitative data has been analyzed using quantitative fashion, like in content analysis. In other words, there is a level of confusion over what is being mixed. Worse still, there is some debate on whether mixing necessarily implies mixing qualitative and quantitative methods. For example, Yin, in 2006, argues that combinations of quantitative methods, for example, survey and experiment, or combinations of qualitative methods, like case study and ethnography, are also mixed methods. For a definition to be useful, it has to describe something and leave out something else. A definition of mixed method that accounts for any mixing of any method in any phase of a research project, including data collection and analysis, is not useful because it borderlines truism by such a broad standard. All research projects and all designs are mixed designs. It seems sensible to take a narrower view, and most researchers would consider mixed method to happen at data collection stage and conceptualize mixed method as the mixture of quantitative and qualitative data collection methods. Because I am a purist, I would further stipulate that mixed methods occur when they generate research data. That is, data that directly influences the development of theory, knowledge and findings. For instance, a situation where one type of data shapes development of research instrument in another method, such as frequently found in interviews informing a questionnaire, is not a mixed data design because the findings from the first phase, qualitative, do not generate substantive findings. Mixed methods only occur when both qualitative and quantitative findings are discussed in depth in the study findings and conclusions. Having looked at some articles, I continue to think that the terms is being conveniently and not rigorously applied, and that oftentimes mixed methods mark sloppiness, ignorance and lack of rigor. This is not to say that I am opposed to mixing. There are perfectly good reasons why a researcher may use different methods. There is a long history of mixing, starting with Chicago School in the 1920s, and the notion of triangulation, introduced by Campbell and Fiske in 1957, is but one reason for considering mixing. Our contemporary understanding of triangulation comes from Denzin, who distinguished between within-method triangulation, i.e. using either multiple quantitative or multiple qualitative methods, and between-method triangulation, which involves both qualitative and quantitative methods. It was Denzin, in 1978, who argued that triangulation or mixing methods was potentially most powerful because of the bias of one paradigm could be cancelled out or counterbalanced by methods from the other. Triangulation, however, is just one benefit, and supporters of mixed methods have identified further uses. For example, Green et al. Identifies 5 main purposes of using combination of method, including triangulation, complementarity, development, initiation, and expansion. Triangulation means combining quantitative and qualitative methods to compensate for weaknesses. If triangulation is used, then different methods remain autonomous, operating side by side. Complementarity means that quantitative and qualitative methods are combined to measure overlapping but also different elements of the phenomenon. This approach contrasts with triangulation, which is using different methods to assess the same conceptual phenomenon. Development occurs when results of one method is used to inform the development of the second. For instance, a quantitative survey could be used to identify groups of respondents with contrasting profiles, whereas triangulation seeks to combine methods to achieve convergence. Initiation occurs when mixed methods are used to expose paradoxes, new perspectives, or contradictions. Finally, expansion uses mixed methods to broaden and widen the range of study. The next tutorial will explore these issues in more detail and will discuss different types of mixed methods.